The anniversary shenanigans have officially kicked off, friends, and today we welcome the arrival of the new legendary cultist Dahlia and her limited event, The Witch's Call. The challenge mode in this event has a one-time reward pool that maxes out at hitting 40 million damage on a single run, and I'm going to try to help you get there. There are two main things to understand about this fight. Number one, continuous damage is everything. Your damage score doesn't come from hitting the boss, but from killing his minions. See a trend here? They all have resistances that crumble upon taking continuous damage, and that means bleed, poison, or burning. Keeping one or more of these flowing is the key to quick kills and a high score. Things are made even easier by incorporating the magic resistance debuff, which we'll talk about more. Number 2, Apotheosis relics. Every time the boss executes his corrosive breath attack, the stage pauses and allows you to choose from one of 3 options to modify the fight. These can trigger or strengthen bleed, poison, or burning effects among other buffs, and they stack. There are defensive options to choose from too, but we're going to talk about why we'll stay away from those. Bleed heroes. There aren't that many heroes that do bleed damage. Salazar, Lugaru, Sargak, Komodo, Vladov, and Ardia kind of. The problem with this is that melee range is too dangerous in this fight, and these guys will die fast as the fight advances and things get intense. Poison heroes! These heroes have better range than the bleed heroes, but you have as few if not fewer to choose from. Aracha, Esme, Nisalt, Liam, and of course Dahlia, the new kid on the block. If you can rock with these, more power to you. Burning heroes! These are the ones that most people will find themselves using. Again, we have Nisalt, Wrath if he's A3 during his ultimate, Abomination during his ultimate, Anai, Ajax, Greed even though his skills don't mention it but his tags do, and my personal MVP, Arrogance. Honorable mention, Lust via her bond skill if you have Arrogance. So, this fight is timed. You have a limited window to rack up as much damage as possible. This is why we want to maximize damage output and skip the defensive relics when they pop up. On my team, my Wrath is really just here for the Lord bonus and to give an Invig bonus to Arrogance. I'm positioning my units so that they'll damage minions immediately when they spawn, with Ajax's range spanning the vertical length of the field to apply his magic resistance debuff throughout. Greed has one as well, along with slowing, along with burn, so even though he's an epic, you'll see him in most of the team comps on the leaderboard. Most of my units are in soulbound, so I start popping my ults immediately with hollows obviously to begin accelerating rage regen. Arrogance kills things almost immediately when his ult is up thanks to applying burning with every hit. Comet doesn't do continuous damage, but his AoE damage is just too effective to not use. So the key to this, as far as I see it, is to try to focus on maximizing your strengths. If you're using a burn team, try to pick burn-related relic buffs whenever possible. If one isn't available, a rage regen or attack interval boost works nicely as well. Sometimes you'll get nothing but defensive choices or choices that don't apply to the continuous damage that you're focused on. Because of this, each run can turn out significantly differently. It took me a few runs to hit my 40k as you'll see, but once you begin to see the synergy stack, it starts to click. With my team comp, I'm not really looking for bleed buffs, so this relic on the right suits me best. And this is where it starts to become evident that this might not be my run. It really depends on what you get and what you're able to capitalize on, so make the most of it and try again if you don't get a good fit. Here we have a perfect example of exactly what you don't want. It went on like this for a few runs for me, and I realized that Nisalt wasn't really contributing to my team comp with his positioning, so I switched him out for Dolores, and finally ended up with a run with a relic sequence that really brought it home for me. There are several ways to go about this, and I'd love to know how it's going for you guys. Drop me a comment and teach me a thing or two. My builds are at the end of the video. Tomorrow, I pull Dahlia. Until then, my people.